that it's not all sunshine and rainbows, that you'll actually have people who tell you you're never going anywhere. And I did a lot, making sure I leave it all on the floor. It's a very cliche thing most athletes say, but you damn well better do it or you leave heartbroken. So I am Rebecca Rowley, and I am a strongman competitor. So I've been asked a lot of really silly questions with Utah. I get asked if I have horns or if I have electricity. Or I get asked if my dad has like 6 wives. He only has one. The same one like my whole life, so. Can you do overhand? Fluffy! What separates me from the other competitors is probably being a mom. I know that's so not the answer you expected, but parts of that is what drives me so hard, and that's also what makes it so hard to compete. They brag about their mom all the time. Like I hear Roman telling his friends at school, "There's my mom, the 7th strongest woman in the world." And I hear like they don't have necessarily dads living in their home with them, but they talk like the way I talked about my dad. My mom's stronger than your dad. And they make these comments that like they do inspire me. I want them to see that, not in necessarily the most feminist way, but I want them to see that women are strong and capable, and I want them to expect that of the women that they are with. I want them to expect that of their daughters. I want this to be generations after generations. I want to inspire everybody beyond me. I want to be great Grandma Becca did this. It's in my blood. I can do it too. The worst time of my life, the point which I had decided I was giving up, would have been 2016. I had decided I really didn't want to keep living. It felt easier to check out. Like I didn't think I could survive the pain I was feeling, and I really don't know if anyone really understands that until you've been there, because if you just talk about suicide and you've never been there, it's like, well, you have kids and you have a life and you're so blessed, and you know, all these things are completely 100% true, but when you're in that place, like you see nothing. All you feel is pain. Like it's not like you're so selfish that no one else matters. It's just that you literally can't see the ability to crawl out of this hole. Like you just think it's gonna go on forever. A couple moments of reality where it's like, I have people that really need me, and that like no matter how much I'm hurting, I can't sentence them to a life of dealing with it. So I got in my car, I drove down, had to deal with all the people that I felt had disappointed me, and to this day I'm still dealing with a lot of pain from those moments alone. I feel like pain, unfortunately, is this monstrous motivator. And once you get older, you kind of have to learn how to change your motives, because it's not a healthy motivator. But growing up being called fat, that's huge. A lot of people have no idea looking at me that I was incredibly bullied. I was told I was fat. I wasn't. I was not fat. I was thick. Yeah, I was a little fluffy. I really loved food, but I was Scandinavian, and nobody sat me down. They're like, "This is who you are. You're fine. No, you're never going to be Old Navy wearing, 0 jeans person. No, you're not. You have thick legs because they're strong." Like no one ever sat me down and did that. It was the complete opposite. I was torn to pieces over it all the time, and it honestly what pushed me into all of it, because I couldn't stand not being accepted by people, or not being pretty, or not being cool, and so I turned to athletics. And so honestly, the bullying was kind of the beginning of all that, and it's one of my favorite things to tell people, because almost nobody ever looks at me and thinks that was my upbringing. I wish I could sit down every little 13-year-old girl and tell her how awesome she was. That she does not need to be a 0, and you don't need to be an athlete to be cool. Like, I just wish I could erase these stereotypes that people think make or break you. I see myself as a work in progress at this point in my life. There's some things I'm really proud of. There's some things that I know I've got a lot of work to do, and there's some things I've just accepted are going to be an everyday thing for the rest of my life. And I'm happier, and I feel like I've really tried to make myself as well-rounded as possible, and it's added a lot to my happiness. I think the thing that causes the most evolution is taking that accountability. If that's all I could say to somebody on like becoming happier, dealing with anger. Yeah, we'll say that. Dealing with anger, depression, anxiety, suicide. While that's something you don't really want to hear in those like the worst moments, I think like telling somebody that, not that they have the control, because there's some things that are out of people's control. There was a lot of situations for me that my hands were in the air. I couldn't make choices for people. I couldn't change the way they behaved or the way they acted, but I was able to change the way that I perceive things or change the way that I interact with people. And so I think that in time really made a difference in my life.